Donald Trump is an embarrassment. Sure, he is a criminal, he is corrupt, but the word that keeps coming to mind every time I see him melt down is embarrassing. He is an embarrassment on the world stage, and he did it to himself again during an Oval Office meeting with Mark Carney, in which Carney shut him down over this idiotic lie he continues to push, and of course we saw Trump implode after it. A disaster for Trump that we are going to get into, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into Carney shutting down Donald Trump, as he does best, I want to start with where Trump began attacking Canada and Canadian cars.
Canadians are refusing to go to the U.S. The numbers are down like 23% in the first 7 months of the year. What do you say to Canadians that don't want to go to the U.S. now because of your 51st state talk, because of the trade war, the tariffs?
Yeah,
and
well, I understand it. Look, I understand that, and Americans don't want to buy cars that are made in Canada. You know, I mean, we have the same conflict. So there isn't. It's something that will get worked out. There's still great love between the two countries, but you know, American people want product here. They want to make it here. Detroit was emptied out and moved to Canada, moved to Mexico, moved to other places, not just Canada. And now they're all moving back, you know, they're moving back. We have, right now, I was just telling Mark, we have 17 trillion, but it's really much higher. That was as of a couple of months ago. Yep. We have over $17 trillion being invested now in the United States as an.
Now, I don't know if you work in tourism in Maine or Minnesota, Michigan, Florida as well. But if you do, you will have realized that Canadians are just not coming to the United States anymore. Donald Trump does so much damage to our reputation on the world stage that it is one of the many reasons I would feel bad traveling outside of the country. The other being, I wouldn't be surprised if I couldn't get back in if Donald Trump's masked thugs said, well, let me see the pictures of J.D. Vance on your phone. Do you remember that story when they kept someone from traveling into the country? They kept the tourist out because he had a fat face J.D. Vance photo on his phone. That was it. He didn't do anything wrong, so I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Customs was like, sorry, man, you tell Trump he's an asshole too much on YouTube. We're not going to allow you back in. But it is embarrassing to be an American right now. I think they would embrace us because we hate this current administration and are fighting back against it. But is this Trump's plan to bump up the tourism, to like take shots at Canadians and say that their cars are terrible? Like, Donald, what are you thinking? Clearly not much. There's not a lot going on in the brain. And you can see that when he was talking about China and competing. It just was kind of a lot of slop.
Sir,
on China, what more can the United States and Canada do together to counter China?
well, you have to be able to compete. They're a great competitor, and Mark and I both know that, and you have to be able to compete. We have big advantages over China for lots of different reasons, and I think we're doing very well with China. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to be meeting him in a few weeks, as you know. I'll be meeting him in South Korea. But we've had a very good relationship for a long time. But you have to be able to compete. To do well with China, if you can't compete, you're not going to do well with China. And Canada is very competitive. I can tell you that. Canada is a very competitive country. And I think Canada's done very well over the years with China.
Yeah, we have. But we'll do better together on that.
So what exactly did any of that mean? Can someone explain? We got to compete, and I compete, and oh, I travel so much, and so many people know me and like me. Where is the competition? You are competing with our allies. Donald Trump seems to be confused who our friends are. I know he doesn't have a lot of them himself, except his buddy Jeff, who is thankfully no longer with us. It really breaks Donald Trump up that that friend, isn't around anymore. But there's no clear or cohesive strategy to what Donald Trump is still doing with our allies. And it's interesting, when we look back at the way he's talked about Putin, that he said, we got to get Putin to come to the table. Things have changed in recent weeks, which is good, and hopefully we continue to see that. But whenever he talked about Putin or Xi, he would say, oh, well, we got to get him to come to the table. We got to be nice. We got to be so kind. And then when he's talking about Canada or France or the UK, it's, well, they got to pay. They're going to pay, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to be so hurtful. It's like, these are our allies, and you're trying to inflict maximum pain on them. Again, we know that the tariffs are just an effort for Donald Trump to grift and take billions of dollars through his crypto coin from foreign leaders. That's always the name of the game, is the grift. But Donald Trump wants a little bit more out of this. He wants to pretend that he's the big, strong, tough guy. That's why he said this about Canada and got shut down.
Azerbaijan, Armenia, disabling Iran as a force of terror, and now, and I'm running out of time, but this is in many respects the most important.
The merger of Canada and the United States.
That wasn't where I was going.
Yeah, your merger it's not coming, Donald. It's never going to. Mark Carney knows how to talk to Trump, but whenever he's in the White House, whenever he's with Trump, he is just consistently shooting him down and shutting him down. Be like, shut up, man. Like, no. Do you remember the first time he was in the Oval Office and he just goes, yeah, so I want to make this very clear. Canada, we're not for sale, and we're not going to put up with that shit. And then Trump goes, well, I don't know. And he's like, no. That is what Mark Carney does. That is what Mark Carney shows everyone they need to be doing. But clearly, Donald Trump was not a fan of getting shut down, so he decided to pivot to other topics in which he thinks he looks strong and tough, I guess, beginning with transphobia.
We have no men in women's sports. Basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change the sex of your child. We're not going to do things like that. What they're doing to the country is so incredible. And they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped. And
the man and his brain are actively imploding before our very eyes. What is going on with him? He just decides out of nowhere he wants to start attacking trans people, making up lies, these disgusting narratives. He's just such a gross, old, demented fuck. That's who Donald Trump is at this point. He's got pudding leaking out of his brain. I said it so many times, I'm going to keep saying it. He's a nursing home patient in the White House, surrounded by yes men who feed him Big Macs and pudding and say, oh, good job, Mr. Trump. You know so much, Mr. Trump. Listen to this diatribe.
But I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leaders. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? And I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. She's from Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her. Okay, you know who I'm talking about?
Do you see how he's awaiting confirmation that he's such a good boy? I met the president of Somalia. Who's impressed? What are you talking about? This is like when Carolyn Levitt shares those images of every single media outlet covering a Trump press conference or a Trump event, and she's like, well, we got all the TVs. It's like, you're supposed to. You're president. You're supposed to meet people. You're not a special boy. Your daddy and mommy never loved you, and it's not going to come, Donald. He is displaying his weakness more and more every day, and it's tracking and polling. And if you want to talk about Trump's weaknesses, just look at his legal losses lately, which Rachel Maddow broke down right here.
That same judge in an emergency hearing late last night told the Trump administration in no uncertain terms that they were obviously trying to defy her order, and they were not allowed to do that. And I say no uncertain terms. Now I will show you what I mean. The judge, Mr. Hamilton, let me ask you, how could bringing in federalized National Guard in California not be in direct contravention of the restraining order I issued yesterday? Trump administration lawyer, Mr. Hamilton. The restraining order issued yesterday, paragraph 1 of it, enjoined implementation of Secretary Hegseth's order to the Oregon National Guard. And this is the judge. Mr. Hamilton, you are an officer of the court. Aren't defendants simply circumventing my order, which relies on the conditions in Portland? Nothing has changed. There's nothing in my order that has changed. Trump administration lawyer, no, Your Honor. The judge. So why is this appropriate? Trump administration lawyer. Well, the reason is that the California National Guard were federalized under a different presidential memorandum. The judge, Mr. Hamilton, you are missing the point, because here it's the conditions on the ground in Oregon that were the basis for my finding. that there was not a legal basis to bring federalized National Guard into Oregon. Is there any legal authority for federalizing National Guard for one purpose, that is to help California, and then to divert them to another purpose in a different state, where there's no showing that that is military help that is necessary to assist law enforcement or to protect law enforcement or the one federal building here for ICE? Trump administration lawyer. Well, the judge. Is there any legal authority for what you are doing? Trump administration lawyer. Well, this section of the U.S. Code, section 12406, has not been utilized any time in history. So there are not many previous precedents from the use of this authority. But the judge, tell me, why do you think it has not been utilized? Trump administration lawyer, I can't speak to that. The judge, Mr. Hamilton, so again, if it were the case that you could federalize National Guard in one place and simply send them to a place where the president doesn't have authority to federalize the National Guard, then what would the purpose of this section of the U.S. Code be? You have to have a colorable claim that Oregon conditions require it, but you don't. We have already gone over that. So why is this appropriate? Trump administration lawyer. Well, again, no additional California guardsmen were federalized. They were instead relocated from California to the state of Oregon. And the judge. So are they federalized or are they not? Trump administration lawyer. They are federalized, but new guardsmen were not federalized. 200 already federalized California guardsmen were relocated to the state of Oregon. The judge. Let me ask you, Mr. Hamilton. You're an officer of the court. Do you believe that this is an appropriate way to deal with my order or an order that a judge issues that you disagree with? Or is the appropriate mechanism to appeal? Trump administration lawyer. Well, I'm not a policymaker, but the judge. You're a lawyer. That's how it's going for the Trump administration in court in trying to send in the troops to Oregon. We'll see how it goes in Illinois, right? I mean, Trump does not seem to have the law on his side on this matter. He does not seem to have the people on his side. He does not seem to have the politics on his side. And so what he has is just force.
Y'all, I say this so much, and please tell me if I need to stop saying it. I think it's important, so I'm going to. But Donald Trump wants you to think that he is inevitable. That is the word. Donald Trump wants you to think that he can't be beaten. It doesn't matter where or when. He's going to win every lawsuit. And even when they come back bad, he's just going to ignore it. That's not the case. Trump is, in some small ways, some few ways, still beholden to the law, right? He is not a dictator yet. But what will make Donald Trump a dictator is when we say he is and give up. That is what he wants from us. He needs us to bend. He needs us to give up hope. And we can't do that. We cannot capitulate in advance thinking that it is the easier path to take. We have to fight and be louder and be tougher and be meaner and get into the fucking mud with this shit, okay? That's what I need y'all doing every day. That's what we're doing on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments or a red heart if you're a liberal in Canada, of course. And if you want to support the show in another way, you can click right here or down below to become a supporter of my Substack. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.